Divorce happens. In fact, it happens to almost 50% of first marriages. So let's talk about it. Welcome to Divorce Happens, a podcast to educate, inspire, support, and yes, make you laugh through divorce and beyond so that you can start fresh on the next phase of your journey. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh.
You get divorced. You get divorced.
Getting divorced?
I'm getting a divorce.
You're getting a divorce.
Because she's getting a divorce.
So what if I get divorced?
Hello. Welcome back to Divorce Happens, the podcast where we support you before, during, and after divorce with education, inspiration, and a little bit of laughter because, as you know, divorce happens and then you start fresh. We're here today with somebody that I'm so excited and happy that she's in my life because she does so many wonderful things and she's a beautiful writer. She's been on the podcast before. Betsy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you so much. I'm so delighted to be back. It was such a pleasure getting to talk with you last time. So this is great. My name is Betsy Cornwell. I am a writer and a divorced single mom. I'm American, as my accent reveals, but I live in the west of Ireland, where I run an arts and rest residency for my fellow single parents. And I also have written 6 novels and a memoir. My memoir, Ring of Salt, is about becoming a single parent in the divorce process and sort of restarting my life here in Ireland. So, yeah, delighted to be here.
Ring of Salt is one of my favorite books. I have it on my shelf and I'm never giving it away. It's so beautiful and I just love everything about it. Your writing is, as you know, I've said this to you before, but your writing is just truly poetic and it makes me want to go to Ireland, which I will someday, I promise.
Oh, yes.
I will. Okay, Betsy. So you are a divorced human and you've gone through the process. You're a single mom. You work with a lot of single parents. What are some things that you learned from your divorce?
Yeah, well, I think, I took my marriage vows very seriously. I was deeply in love with my husband and would have been absolutely brokenhearted at the idea that divorce was going to be part of my life. And, my best friend went through a divorce a few years after I did. And one of the things that I kept telling her when she was sort of trying to decide if this was something she wanted or could handle, I said, like, when you are still trying to decide if you should get divorced, it feels so bleak and so scary. And it feels like life after divorce will be horrible. But there is so much magic and joy that came into my life after I made that decision that I would not ever have accessed otherwise. So I told her that I really believe divorce can be a portal to joy, and that was something that took a lot of unlearning for me to accept. And I was raised to think divorce was like a mortal sin, and so that was something that I kept telling her and realized that I really believe is, it's something that feels really frightening, but it can absolutely be a huge gift to yourself, to your children, to just to other women. I really believe that. Yeah.
No. I'm literally writing down, this is what I'm doing, writing down divorce can be a portal to joy,
Yes.
Betsy, because I want to post that. What a phenomenal reframe, right? And for you, that has proven time and again.
Yeah.
So, what's something else that you really took away from this that you didn't think that you would learn from your getting divorced?
I mean, I've always been a feminist. I've always been into the idea of sisterhood, but I think divorce has really amplified that for me, and the experience of single motherhood has really amplified that for me. Right now, I'm doing a project that I'm really excited about called "The First Time I Felt Free," which is I'm editing a little booklet anthology of stories by domestic abuse survivors. That's just basically telling stories of small moments of freedom and hope that came after leaving a harmful relationship. So not necessarily a divorce, but just like leaving essentially domestic abuse. And I led an in-person retreat for that project last Saturday in Kylemore Abbey, which is a beautiful location here in Ireland. And I was so moved by some women had been years out of their relationship, some were only a few months out, and just their bravery and honesty and vulnerability and the way that I think the way that survivors see each other is so helpful. And this project, I'm running it through Cope Galway, which is the local domestic abuse center. And, most of the women there, like myself, hadn't really experienced physical abuse. It was more like coercive control, emotional abuse, that kind of thing. And so be able to claim survivorship without bruises, I think is really powerful. And this project is made possible because of a woman who made a donation to Cope Galway who wanted to be anonymous but wanted her symbol to be the sunflower. So we gave sunflowers to all the workshop participants, and I kept thinking about how like sunflowers turn to face the sun during the day, but if it's cloudy, then they face each other, which I think is such a beautiful metaphor for what we were doing there on that day, and for what like podcasts like this one and like your project does, is it enables somebody who can't really see the sun to find that light from someone else. And I think that's what it's all about,
Oh my God. I love that so much. I didn't
right?
know that. I'm about
Isn't
to
it cool?
cry.
I
Oh,
know.
I hope that there's you need to write a children's book about that.
Oh,
I
I would love
mean,
that. Yeah, okay, sold. Yeah.
yeah, what a beautiful, first of all, I love the idea of being anonymous but having a symbol. Brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, just all of the work you do is so beautiful. And tell us more about, the residency and, obviously you've written so much about, building everything, but what is this? If somebody's listening and they're like, I'm
Yes.
a single parent and I'm a writer, I want to be involved. What
Awesome.
is it?
Yes, thank you for reminding me, because I was just I'm so immersed in it all the time that I forget to explain what it is. So,
We all do that.
yeah, so when I left my marriage, I was briefly homeless. I struggled a lot with the housing crisis in Ireland, and I developed this sort of fantasy of homeownership that felt really inaccessible to me, sort of low income, self-employed, immigrant, single mom. And I simultaneously joined this survivors group at my local domestic abuse center and was so inspired by the other women there, and really wanted to celebrate them when, divorce and single motherhood are still so stigmatized. And so that sort of fantasy of homeownership and wanting to honor and celebrate other single moms combined. And I started dreaming of a place that could be a home for me and my son, but that I could also create as a residency space for other single parents. And it was a very long and complicated journey, which is what my memoir is about. But eventually I found this space in this historic knitting factory where I'm calling in from right now, crowdfunded its purchase, and have turned it into a residency space. So you can apply for fully funded residency to come and stay here for free. Or you can also book a paid residency here, which is something that's now the phase I'm at right now, is trying to figure out how to make this sort of financially solvent in the long term. So anyone who's interested in supporting the project by booking a residency, I also offer online mentorship through the Knitting Factory for creative writing. And we have a Patreon page where people can give monthly support to the project. So that's what the Knitting Factory is. It's an arts residency space. It's my home that I live in. And it's a space that I want to offer to other single parents. So.
I love it so much. What's your favorite thing about living in Ireland?
Oh my God. So many. I mean, it's so beautiful here. I live in on the west coast of Ireland in Connemara. I've lived in Ireland for 14 years, in Connemara for 7 years, and I still am astounded by how beautiful it is every day. I think a big part of my memoir is just nature writing, because I love
Yeah.
the landscape here so much. I love the folklore and how tied it is to the landscape. I love the sort of Celtic calendar, and uh, I think, yeah, to answer that question, maybe what I love most about Ireland is how much of a storytelling culture it is. Like, as a writer, that's something that I really love and admire. There's a saying here that if you ask an American a question, they'll give you an answer, but if you ask an Irish person a question, they'll tell you a story. And I find myself becoming more Irish in that way the longer I live here, where I just hopefully it makes me a good podcast guest, because I just ramble
Yes,
on.
I love it.
So,
No, I love it. I love it. And I will say something else that you write really beautifully about is sweaters. You do
mm,
a great
thank you.
illustration depiction of sweaters in your book.
Awesome.
Makes me want to buy all the big chunky sweaters.
Should
Um,
should tell the sweater market that maybe they'll give
yes,
me
we should.
yeah.
Before we let you go, Betsy, if somebody's listening to this and they're kind of considering divorce or, navigating divorce, what would be some words of encouragement that you could leave them with?
Yeah, well, I think that I do think to remember that there is magic on the other side of it that you can't imagine now, I think is really important to keep you going. In terms of more practical advice, I do think seeking out other people who are also going through the process or at different parts of that journey is really important. Like, there's so much shame and secrecy involved. I think to talk to people who've been divorced or to reach out to your local domestic abuse center, even maybe especially if you haven't experienced physical abuse but feel like there might still be something off about your relationship, like you will be listened to, supported, believed, and that is so important. And it really was the support group of other survivors that helped me through my divorce. So finding a coven or a cohort is so important. Yeah.
Coven. Yes, we love that. We appreciate you, Betsy, and everything you do. And I'll put all the links in the show notes so people can support you and buy the book and support the Knitting Factory. And I cannot wait to come someday.
I cannot wait. Yeah.
My sons will be very excited. So thank you. Really, I think it's so important to illustrate to people that you can go through something really horrible and come out the other side and then want to make the world a better place for other people. And we just appreciate the work that you do there. So thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And I think all the same back to you. I have so much admiration for the Fresh Start Registry and for all the work you do. I think it's exactly that. It's going through something, and that experience makes you want to make it better for other people. So that's amazing.
Thank you. Divorce Happens is produced by Fresh Starts Registry, the only divorce registry platform for everything you need to begin again, including home items, hype team, and everything in between. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh. We're here to support you before, during, and after divorce. Head to freshstartsregistry.com for more info.